Hi, this is Ellen from Hollywood.com here in front of the Park Hyatt Hotel in Century City, California, where horror meisters, aliens, and monsters are all turning out for the 26th annual Saturn Awards. Since we're at this type of award, when you're doing such a big fantasy film like X-Men, is there a worry about style over substance since there's so much visual effects and stuff? Do you have fear that it'll eclipse the story?
No, I think Bryan Singer, the reason why he took this job is because he discovered why what it was about the comic book X-Men that made fans so loyal for 37 years, and it was character driven. So I think he's done an excellent job of creating a perfect balance between a character driven drama and an action movie that people are going to want to see too, because I don't think if you commit to 100% either way that people are going to be happy. I mean, if it's too much action, people are going to say, hey, you should have had more characters and more acting. If it's all acting, then the people who wanted to go see the big explosions and the special effects are going to be upset. So I think he's created a nice balance between the two.
Final question to you, what movie or film symbolizes science fiction to you?
Star Wars. Either Star Wars or Alien. Two of my favorite movies ever.
Now, how big of a sci-fi fan are you?
Tremendous sci-fi fan and fantasy fan.
What typifies sci-fi for you think? Any one kind of character or any one movie or film just says sci-fi all over?
We all have a deep, passionate respect for Star Trek.
Did you check out Galaxy Quest?
Yeah, I loved it. Oh yeah, of course.
That clearly was for Star Trek-like fans, I think.
Oh yeah, well, I think it's for everybody. But it brought that whole universe to light. It brought this universe to people like my parents who wonder what the hell I do, every night.
So are you here? Are you presenting, or are you just hanging out?
I am here totally. I've known Dr. Reed for many, many, many years, and I've come almost every year if I'm in town. Oh, there are your glasses, sir. And I just come here to support him and to hang out and have a good time with a lot of friends. A lot of people I know are here presenting and things like that. I'm a little shy, so I get nervous getting up there. So I think I'll just sit and eat the chicken or whatever it is they're going to serve.
There have been so many shows, sci-fi shows, fantasy shows, time travel shows. Why do they work so well for people?
I really believe that most of us want to believe that there's more than what we create as our reality. Mm-hmm. And personally, I think there is more. And I think we're so fascinated with that because it's part of being human. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at children, we're always looking for something outside of our norm. So I think it's about exploration.
Did it occur to you that people would recognize you outside of your makeup?
Well, what happened to me was because V was first. Everybody knew my face from that. I mean, I was on the cover of TV Guide, so people knew my face from that. But there was a couple of years where I was able to be a little bit anonymous there. Maybe around the time the second or third one came out, and I could just enjoy it. Going to Europe and doing a movie or doing it, and enjoy the money and everything. And then all of a sudden, you do the talk shows. You start doing the talk shows, and then the cat's out of the bag. Start looking in the camera and being interviewed all the time without your makeup on, and everybody knows you. Yeah. And I look a lot like Freddie because they make the molds all off of my face for the makeup. So my profile is pretty weird anyway, and it's Freddie's profile. Freddie's nose is a little bit bigger, but not much.
Do you keep anything from that movie hanging in your...
Well, I've given most of the real valuable stuff to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and to Planet Hollywood and to Hard Rock Cafe and things like that. Over the years, you get a lot of calls to give auction items for fundraisers and good charities and things. I've got a couple things. I've got the original molds, and I've got a gold record by Alice Cooper that I did some Freddie laughs on, and I got a couple of weird things sitting around that are fun.
What draws you to producing these type of movies, these genre movies? Usually you'd think they have a very specific cult audience, but I mean, certainly there's been a lot that's broken through.
I'm only drawn to a movie because I want to see it. Mm-hmm. If I read it or I develop it or if I write it with people, I want to see it. And that's why I want to do it. And I never really see anything as a genre per se. I mean, it's The Omen came into my life. It changed my life. Was that a genre? I called it a mystery suspense thriller. Others called it other things. Made money, changed my life. Took me to Superman. That was a whole different twist. Sci-fi. No, I treated it was real. So it's hard to categorize any of that.
Yeah. What's one when you were growing up that really symbolized sci-fi for you? What's a memory
Oh
you have?
boy. That's really hard. I was a total buff. I mean, I cheated my way into more movie theaters in my life than anybody in the history of the business. I used to change the 8x10s in the theaters, literally. And I'd steal them all and get into the movies. And my grandfather had a movie theater when I was born. So when I was a little kid in Brooklyn, my mother used to leave me in the back seat of the theater while she talked to her 9 sisters. And I was just there knowing full well somebody was shooting something into my arm because I was going to be in that business.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, sir. Very nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you. Now, you've done so many different genres of films. Are you a sci-fi fan?
Well, not necessarily. I'm a fan of well-made movies. They can be tear-jerkers or comedies or action thrillers or science fiction. If they're really well made, I'm a fan. That's the kind of movies I like, and they can be in a very eclectic group of genres.
Now, when you were doing Blade Runner, what was that experience like in terms of the futuristic vision that?
It was a demanding experience, and it was relatively new, genre. I mean, other than Metropolis and some of the older movies that attempted, special effects and things like that. I was a newcomer, so I didn't really know that much about how movies were put together and how they were made, so I ended up learning an awful lot, and there were some very technically demanding things in that movie. But a lot of movies are like that, not just science fiction.
I understand you are hosting.
Yes, I'm hosting this wacky awards, this sort of lighthearted awards.
Lighthearted awards.
Yeah, these are the awards that don't get any respect or coverage, except for you, good people, because you're smart enough to be here.
Yes, but you have to say that this genre has some of the most diehard fans.
Oh, it does, absolutely. I mean, anyone can watch a cheeseball drama or whatever, but a good horror film, it takes someone to be committed to go see the movie and to sit all the way through it. So I found that the fans are much more diehard for the real genre stuff, whether it's science fiction, fantasy, or horror.
Now, haven't you had a lot of fan experience to give you a lot of attention?
Oh, yeah, I just have come from a convention in New Orleans, where you're sort of pressing the flesh with real fans. And I think it's important, one, to show them that, you're just sort of a normal person. I think it's important to sort of dispel some of the myths of Hollywood. But it's also good to see who's out there supporting your stuff.
Wow.
And are they anything like you?
Now, have you been ever one of these kind of diehard fans as well, in terms of these kind of genre movies?
I have very quietly, but I haven't stalked anyone, or tapped anyone's phone lines yet. So, I've just been an avid viewer of shows that I like or whatever.
Do they stalk you? Do they tap your phone line?
I haven't had any problems yet because I play characters that are idiots, and so no one would bother.
Now, what do you think of Sam Raimi taking on Spider-Man?
I think Sam Raimi doing Spider-Man is a really good idea because he's so suited stylistically to that type of material. He's been cutting his teeth on dramas, which is great, to sort of get an idea of dealing with actors and stuff like that. But now he can put it all together. And now he's got a serious budget too.
Yeah.
He's got all the toys he would ever want. So it's perfect for Sam.
Can't you kind of call him up and get him to stick you in there?
There is a part for a man who gets hit by a bus on page 7. So that's what I'm trying to get.
What are you looking forward to? You're maybe a nominee. How does that feel? It's like
that feels great. This is my first big nomination. So and I'm very, very proud to be in this genre, and I hope I win.
Now, I know that Now and Again had a very, very core, diehard fan base. I would read about them all the time. Did that filter down? Did you guys hear about this sort of fan base and?
Oh yeah. I would check the web every now and then, to see what they were saying about us, And it's very interesting what they were saying and how they were reviewing the show and all the little sound bites. All the little sound bites and everything else that were coming down on the web, and also how they reacted to our show not being picked up.
Yeah. Do you think though that this show was kind of I don't know, not ahead of its time, but it was definitely a new kind of pioneering in a way of sorts, don't you think?
Absolutely. There's nothing like it on television.
Yeah.
And I actually think it deserves to be on longer, at least 4 or 5 seasons.
I understand you're here as a presenter tonight.
Yeah, I'm presenting the award with Jamie Kennedy, I was told, for Best Network Television Series.
Cool. Is it true you're an X-Files fan?
Yes, I like X-Files. I like, and I was saying Jason Behr from Roswell is a good friend of mine, so I watch all that stuff. It's fun.
Now, thank goodness that show came back too. For a while, people weren't sure.
Well, we didn't know if that was coming back, or Jack and Jill, or Felicity. It was between the 3 shows, and we're short time slots. Mm-hmm. So that's why they're doing the Roswell got a time slot, and then Felicity and Jack and Jill will share one. Felicity will be on for 13 weeks, and then immediately following will be Jack and Jill for 13 weeks.
Cool.
By that time, hopefully one of the new shows of the year. I don't mean anything bad by this, but for our sake, I hope one of them gets canceled so that we can have a time slot. 9 times out of 10, that happens anyway. So
now, by bringing Roswell back, does that show that there is room for mixing genres like sci-fi and romance?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think there is anyway. There always has been.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Star Wars, and everything's new now. Everything's different. You can do whatever you want. People watch it.